It's 7 o'clock, which means the wife is headed off to work, and it is time to transport this build down to where it needs to be installed at the Oil Research Lab, which means I have to get it out from around this. So today's video is going to focus a lot on how to properly transport a computer without breaking anything, starting with moving this computer about a foot to the left. You want to make sure it's shut down, especially if it has mechanical drives, before you start moving it around. If it has a laptop drive, you could probably get away with it, solid state for sure, but you don't want to bork any of the mechanical components. And yes, bork is the scientific term. This particular computer is going to be the TLA build, which stands for a 3-letter acronym, because it has RGB, because it's an NAS, and a whole bunch of other things that I don't remember immediately. I had to start making up my own TLAs. Now, it may look like I have a bunch of junk over there, but that's actually going to be taken over to the job site as well, because all of those boxes have the serial numbers for the hard drives. And given that they're Western Digital Blacks with a 5-year warranty, 5 years from now, it's entirely likely they'll want to have that registration information. That is a suspicious amount of extra screws. And it had no back panel on it. I can't transport it like that, now can we? There's two things you need to consider when transporting a computer. How floppy are some of the internals and will that damage them? And what kind of forces is the computer going to be subjected to? In the case of this build, pun incredibly intended, we don't have any big double or even triple slot video cards. Now, if you're transporting something with a big video card in it, you do have to worry if it's only attached here and at the PCI slot and you've got 2 or 3 pounds of weight that's flopping around, it may crack the PCB and rip itself. Because if you think about it, that heatsink is really just hanging on to the PCB. And if you've got a bunch of weight out here, it could really mess up that video card. Another thing to consider is having a big, heavy heatsink. Now, this stock one isn't going to be much of an issue. But just like a high-end video card, it's only attached at one end, and you've got all this weight that bounces around as you go over bumps. Now, how should you have the computer in your car if you're transporting it across town or, like today, about 20 miles? If you have it flat on its back in like the passenger seat or the back seat, you should be pretty much okay. Certainly for the heatsink, that should be fine. Although if you go over significant potholes or bumps in the road, you will have this bouncing up and down, but it shouldn't flex too much because the motherboard, if using all the screws, should be reasonably well attached. Things like this RAID card will be perfectly okay, the power supply is going to be okay, and the hard drives are pretty much going to be okay no matter which way you orient things. By having it down flat like this as well, the video card will be pushing into the PCI slot but not really twisting so much, because you've got this up here. So, to quickly summarize, transporting it flat like this would be better than if you were to transport it like this, assuming you have heavy components and no supports for them during shipping. Now, if you had some cardboard or some styrofoam, you could put some braces in here, and that would theoretically help with long distance moving or even shipping. But typically, if you're just transporting your gaming rig over to a LAN party, if those things still exist, then setting it down flat on its back is what I would recommend for transporting your computer. A couple quick things I forgot to mention. If you're doing a build for someone else, keep all of the boxes with serial numbers and receipts so that if they need to do something with warranty or returns, they can do that. And if you're not entirely comfortable shipping something with a really heavy cooler, basically think of it as if you picked up the computer and shook it really hard, would you be comfortable with the video card and the heatsink not flexing or destroying the motherboard? And if the answer is not 100% sure, it's okay to take those out, put them in the box they came in, and ship them separately. Well, it's been fun, and I've got to get running out to the other side of the Metroplex. So, make sure you're subscribed, check out our previous videos. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.